Hey guys, just thought I'd do a quick video. There's been a lot of talk this week about the hybrid players. I thought maybe we'd discuss that a bit. I'm stuck in traffic, so moving very slowly. So I thought instead of killing time, instead of trying to do it when I get back into my office, I thought it might be a good time to do it now and just and talk while we're sort of moving along at snail's pace on the highway. So as everybody saw, Andre Esterhuizen came on at flank against the Barbarians, and I just want to talk about the beauty of this move. Not for the obvious reasons, not because you have another player who can play another position, but just the beauty of this move and what it does. Now, the big thing about the move for Andre Esterhuizen, it's not the first time the Boks have done it. We've seen Chesney Colby play scrum off. We've seen Kwagga Smith cover the back line as well, play on the wing. We've seen Damien de Lende jump in the line out for the Springboks, so that's all normal. We've seen that quite a few times. We've seen Marco van Staden play hooker, Deon Fourie play hooker as well, although probably more acceptable for Deon Fourie to play hooker. Marco van Staden was a bit of a stretch for us, and the Boks have been quite consistent about things like that. They're always trying to think outside the box. Being two-time world champions, you're going to have teams targeting you the whole time, and how do you keep ahead of the pack? That's the big question. Now you have to innovate, and to innovate in terms of moves is one thing, which the Boks certainly do, but to innovate in other ways and find loopholes in the system isn't something that Rassie Erasmus is very good at. So now the beauty of this whole move on Andre Esterhuizen, of course Andre Esterhuizen is a huge guy. He's 1.93, 115 kgs. Certainly has the bulk to be a forward, and we had a bit of it this week where we spoke to the Boks a couple of times about that, and I'm going to throw in a couple of clips here as well, just to illustrate that. Some of them were off camera. As you know, we only allowed to record 10 minutes nowadays on the Springbok press conference. They stop us after 10 minutes, but we're allowed to record audio after that. So some of this will be audio clips for stuff that came out after the 10-minute recording time was in the extra 20 minutes that we do get with them as well, where we can ask stuff, but that's all off camera. So we got audio of that, so you'll have a listen to that. So we started off the week just talking about let's put it this way. Let's start at this side. The one thing with the Springbok rugby is very good at is doing the fundamentals right. Strongest scrum in the world. I don't think anybody will argue that. The set piece, very, very strong. Very big line-out team. Very big aerial game team. Kicking game is huge for the Springboks. Those fundamentals won't change, as Andre Pollard put it there this week, saying that but the attack can evolve a lot more. And the attack is not just the moves. He was talking more specifically about Tony Brown and the moves that they do. But it's a lot wider than that. But have a listen to Andre.
Defenses are still key to winning World Cups and competitions. That will be the core fundamental of any winning team still, and a good kicking game. But I just think there was a lot of room for improvement in attack over the last few years. And where back in the day the New Zealand teams might have unlocked that earlier, we were trusting our defense and kicking game a bit more at that time. We've sort of seen, listen, there's another layer to us that we can evolve as well, and that's our attack. So it's not massive. It's not crazy. It's just minor adjustments here and there. At the core of our game will always be our physicality and being direct. That's who we are as a nation and as a team. So we'll never shy away from that. Our set piece dominance is going to be key to any game we ever play. But if we can just sprinkle a little something extra on our attack, just to take us to a next level, that's the goal.
So Andre is right in terms of that. The thing that comes into mind now is, where can the Boks use something different? And that's where the Esterhuizen thing was quite interesting, because it's had us all talking this last week. It's had us talking about whether the Boks can do an 8-0. I asked Don him on that this week as well, and he answered like this. And it is something that will come up, because it is a situation where the Boks can do an 8-0 bench, which everybody's been speculating, will they go that way? Although it won't be a traditional 8-0 with forwards and backs, no backs and 8 forwards. But it could very well be that you have an 8-0 where you have a Quagga Smith and Andre Esterhuizen covering the back line. That is not that far-fetched at the moment, guys. And the beauty of it all is that you're now going to have teams guessing. If you're an opposition coach, and I said this to Joey Mongalo the other day as well, if you're an opposition coach and you planning against the box, do you plan for Andre Esterhuizen as a 12 to come on, or to come on in the second half as a flank? Do you plan? And it's going to create a lot of confusion in opposition coaches' minds. It adds an extra layer. Look, I mean, rugby's so overanalyzed nowadays that coaches will plan for these things, but it's now an extra thing to plan for. It's an extra thing to try and get yourself motivated for. It's an extra thing to watch for. And anything extra that you can take the opposition's attention away is going to benefit the Springboks. So that's why I think it's a genius move. I think it's really, it adds to the to the whole sense of doubt. When you select a team, opposition coaches are going to be thinking a lot more than just, is that player, and how do I counter that player? Now they're going to think, how do I counter that player in the forwards or in the backs? And I know it doesn't sound like it's much of a difference, but it certainly will make a difference in the long run. It does. Every little inch that you get, and rugby is a game of inches, especially at test level. It's a game of taking chances, and this will help the Springboks either way. Of course, Andre Esterhuizen probably is not the only one. There's probably others as well. And as Rassie said this week, it's not something new. He said, and take his point on this, because it's a very important point. This is that the way the modern game goes, that outside the set pieces, you don't really have set positions for players, because the game has evolved so much that we're sitting in a situation where players, interchange in positions. You hear often coaches talking about there isn't a specific jackler anymore in the team. Everybody's going to be able to turn over ball from rucks. Everybody's going to be able to stop opposition, tackle, take the ball forward, be a ball carrier. So the game has evolved to such an extent that any player, wherever he finds himself in the field, must assume the role in the position, either on defense or attack, that he needs to. We see flankers often popping up on the tram lines now. Peter Steph Toy has become an expert of that. Sia is quite good at that as well. We see on defense, players need to fold into the defensive system wherever they find themselves as well. So that's nothing new. And Rassie's point is quite clear that where the players do find themselves, they've got to adapt. So other than the specialist positions, your front row, your scrum half, the beauty of this is all the questions you're going to put into opposition coaches' minds. And as Rassie points out, it is only really the set pieces where players aren't interchangeable. You need a solid front row. It's a specialist position. You need a scrum half. You probably need a 10. You probably need a 15, as he says. But let him explain it exactly how he sees it as well.
I can't talk for the rest of the world. I can actually just talk what we think, and it's our opinion that we think what works for us in South Africa with the players that we have. I mean, he's actually, to think he's playing 10, 12 and 15, and he's doing well at 10, 12 and 15. He's also a bit of a hybrid player. In the old days, Nas Botha didn't play 12 and 15. He played 10, and Sasha can play 10, 12. And 15. Mani can play 10 and 15. Andre can play 10 and 12. And to get back to Andre, in our opinion, and I'm not saying that's how the rest of the world must think, but it's actually just scrums and lineouts. We have positions. You want to have your 9 and 10 in position, and your 15 probably in position. But then, and Jesse, and maybe your 13 in defense. But then after that, it's general play. So let's say there's 12 scrums in a game, 15 lineouts, but there's 150 rucks. Those rucks, it's very much general play. So if the guys can master the set phases, which I think Andre does really well, his role is pretty much in our system very, very a lot like the six flanker in general play on defense and on attack. So I don't think players can just swap him from prop to wing, but I think there's certainly certain, in our opinion, positions that can flow into each other. On Andre specifically, or all players?
No, just on the play.
Oh yeah. You see, it's different on every player. A guy like Andre, you don't want to make him a guy who's a flank and a loose forward. You want him to be a centre who can also play loose forward. So you want him to start these matches as 12 as well. But I do think it also makes his career a little bit more, well, not saying longer, more if he just plays 12. You either start or not be in the 23. And for him to get closer into the mix more regular in the 23, for him being able to play 6 and 12, or 8 and 12, you'll probably get more in the match day 23 is where he's just out and out 12. It's either him or Damien Dalenda who plays. And you don't put a specialist 12 maybe on the bench. So it differs from player to player. A guy like Quagga, we've only used him in a 6-2 split twice, I think, at wing when we had 3 backline injuries. But I mean, Franco Moster is a 7-4. Vincent is a 4 as well, and a 7. Quagga is a 6-8 and a wing. Yeah. So, again, I don't know if the rest of the world will do it like that, but for us, we really like it when guys in general play being able to do more than one job. It's just can they handle the set phases. So we've got our planning, but people can quickly disrupt that and beat us, and we have to go back in our box a little bit again.
Awesome. Thank you, Rassie. And Azar. Thank you, everybody. Maya?
Hi, Coach.
Sorry.
Going back to that question, hybrid. I was asking that unofficially. Marius question,
Marius, yeah, I was my first roommate.
Sorry. Replied me. More or less the same word.
Is it? Yeah. You will say really,
So that's it. So that's to me is just the wonderful thing is that you're going to keep coaches guessing. And this is certainly not the last we're going to see from the Springboks in terms of innovation and something that's different. And I can just see some of the pundits up north, we all know who we're thinking of right now, clutching their pearls and saying it's not in the spirit of the game. But the game is about innovating. The game is about developing. And any way you can innovate your attack and give yourself a chance, it's good. And I think we're going to leave you with the last one here, which is Franco Smith, who in this week in the chat with me, he had tried something similar with Stuart McDowell, the midfielder that he has, and also spoke quite honestly about it, that we're going to get to a position where you're going to have to have your best players on the field. So if you've got 2 X-Factor players in the same position, if you can find a way of getting the second X-Factor player on the field at any time, that's only going to benefit you. If it's a player that's can change the game, it'll certainly benefit your team as well. So that's the beauty of it, and I think that's what makes it wonderful. So that's it. That's my video. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Do you want to see other players in hybrid positions? Do you think the hybrid thing is overrated? Do you think there's still a place for the fatties out there, for the props? I think the one thing is good. The Springboks will never go away from the scrum while Don Heerman's there. But yeah, smash that subscribe button and let me know your thoughts. It'll be interesting to see. Thanks for listening. Cheers. Hopefully my drive is almost over. Cheers.